What up, curling fan? This is a call to action. I'm looking for 3 female youth athletes within the York region area to help me fulfill my commitment to create follow-along athletic videos for a Curling Canada future website. So if you're interested, if I've piqued your interest at all, I want you to continue listening. Even if you don't feel like you want to be a volunteer for this, then of course you can still listen and learn more about my project and the reasons that I feel like that it's so important. So just so you know that I'm actually reading directly off of the screen to this direction. So please don't take offense. I just could not memorize all of this. That'd be absolutely ridiculous. So back in the spring of 2021, I had the honor of being selected as a recipient of the Curling Canada Gender Equity Award. And this is something that I was very honored to be selected for, being a female athlete, female entrepreneur, and someone that is always trying to advocate for women in sport and in life and in business. And I thought, I was very, very excited to receive this award. It's very close to my heart. So from the grant, thanks to the grant, the Empowered Performance for Young Women in Curling project was created. And it was designed to inform, educate, and inspire action in girls and young women across Canada in an effort to keep females involved in the sport of curling for longer. The whole goal is to make sure that we can get more curlers to stay involved in the sport for longer. So when I was applying for this grant, I came across the Rally report. And in hindsight, I'd actually been sent the report a couple of months prior, I think when it first came out, from a colleague who knows that this is something that's very important to me. So the Rally report found, and I was not surprised. I know this sounds horrible, but I was not surprised by these stats. So if anybody is surprised, I encourage you to look around and pay attention, because this really is happening. But 1 in 3 girls who participated in sport drop out by late adolescence. In the report, they report the following factors as preventing them from participating in sport for longer. So number 1 is that low confidence. They quit before they become into adulthood because they don't have confidence in themselves and in their sport, and in themselves in the sport as well. They have a negative body image, which keeps them from wanting to compete or be in center stage. They have a perceived lack of skill or perceived understanding of how to improve that skill. They've kind of hit their plateau and they don't have any resources to keep them within the sport for longer. They have poor perceptions of belonging. So whether they don't, a lot of the reasons a lot of curlers stay in curling is because they have that community and they feel like they belong, whereas some athletes actually quit because they don't feel like they belong. And then of course that not feeling welcomed aligns with that. So those are some of the factors that are preventing the athletes from participating in sport for longer. Now, growing up, I remember watching some of my teammates, my competitors, we'd be competing against each other year after year after year, and slowly they would drop off for various reasons. Priorities shifted. When they were younger, it was easier because their parents drove them everywhere. Now they're older and they have to make those decisions for themselves. There's a variety of reasons why people quit curling. And one of them in that lack of skill and injury are some reasons why people quit. Their body hurts. They don't feel good while they're curling anymore. And I'm hoping that this project can help fill in that gap. So sport and physical activity is incredibly important in a young woman's life, anybody's life, especially when developing confidence. So sport and activity helps. It's been proven to help improve and build someone's confidence. Self-efficacy, so how well they perceive they are good at a certain activity. Their body awareness. Sport is so good for body awareness, okay? Making sure we're understanding where our limbs are in space, how our body's moving, how it's feeling, what kind of things make my body feel good. Okay, these are things that we learn through sport and other fun activities. And of course, sport provides a safe space to feel welcome. So those that are quitting, we're not 100% sure why they are quitting if they don't feel welcomed when we say that sports help. But however, having that camaraderie and that ability to train specifically for your sport, knowing that you and your teammates are doing the same thing along the same lines to get to where you want to go, that can help to help you feel a sense of belonging on your team, because you have actionable tasks to keep you as part of that team. So during my junior years, As a curler, I noticed a large gap in information available for not only young women, but curlers overall. So if you've listened to my podcast, the Empower Performance for Curlers podcast, if you've paid attention to my blogs, my Instagram, I talk about this all the time. There's a huge gap and a huge lack of resources for curlers when it comes to their health, managing injury, their strength, their fitness, just their overall ability to curl well. There's a lack of information. You should be able to Google curling fitness and have to scroll through thousands of articles, and you don't. So I noticed this gap years and years and years ago, and it is working on it. We're coming up with some information with it's becoming public. That's one of the problems, is it's not public. So I noticed that there's this huge gap in available information, okay, for public information, not only for young women, but for curlers overall. So information pertaining to how to improve and maintain health, fitness, and performance was lacking. With the Empowered Performance for Young Women in Curling project, we will be providing access to resources to help keep the mind and body healthy and encourage improvement in athletic ability and skills, thus keeping girls, hopefully, from dropping out due to lack of interest, plateau in ability, injury, or overwhelm. That's the goal of this project, is to provide that resource. So we, as in me, myself, and I, are creating a follow-along program to be displayed on a future Curling Canada Youth website. And it'll be containing appropriate information for youth curlers, especially young women, to learn more about themselves and how their body needs to be able to be the best curler, move to be the best curler. In my experience as a coach, I've noticed that curlers who increase autonomy around their training and personal growth develop an increase in fitness, decrease in injuries, and as a result are able to practice and play more. More game time typically leads to improved performance, and improved performance typically leads to more enjoyment for the game for longer. You're more likely to stay in if you feel like you're actually good at something. Okay, you can put the work in and you're seeing the improvements yourself. So the project will consist of 3 separate educational and follow-along exercise videos, as well as some printable tracking sheets and relevant resources. So keeping it really, really simple, but it's going to be follow-along videos. So each session will be 30 minutes each, and will describe each exercise and educate on the importance and relevance as it relates to curling. The follow-along workout will help build autonomy and self-efficacy as it pertains to focused training for the sport of curling. The 3 sessions will target common issues in balance, control, power, and injury and energy. Okay, the sessions are going to be aimed at, this is who I'm looking for, it's going to be aimed at junior and high school aged young women. And we will do our absolute best to ensure that there is a diversity in the athletes used for demonstration purposes. So this is, as I said at the beginning, this is a call to action. I've been putting it off, trying to get this filmed because I was hoping we would open up, so I could open this up and make this a really safe experience for those who are going to volunteer for me. However, it doesn't seem like COVID's going away for a while here. So if COVID guidelines allow, then on September 26th or 27th, you have to be available for either date, depending on weather, because we're going to do this outside. I'm looking for 3 young female athletes who are willing to join me as volunteers in the recording of the 3 sessions. So if you're interested in that, and you've made it this far, send an email to steph@empowerperformance.ca, and the application forms are going to be really simple. As soon as I get 3 people, I'm going to be like, sweet, let's go. Of course, you have to meet a couple of requirements. Now, I want to point out that as I'm in charge of this project, I get to choose how safe we are, and we're going to go above and beyond based on the COVID guidelines. So regardless of how things look at September 26th, we will be wearing masks, we will be socially distancing, and when we are filming, we're going to be far enough away that you can have your mask off, because this is something that we want to have presented for future years. So you have to be comfortable with A, wearing a mask for most of the time, B, having your mask off but being distanced, and C, keeping your distance even if we're near each other. You have to be doubly vaccinated within 2 weeks of that September 26th deadline. So to protect myself and the other volunteers, that is my requirement. You have to be double vaxxed. You have to show proof of vaccination. As a registered kinesiologist, I do have the capacity to store that information safely and effectively, aligning with PHIPAA. So you don't have to feel like your information is being spread across the internet. That is an ethical requirement of being a kin here in Ontario. So just to keep that on the sideline. If you're not comfortable with that, then please don't apply, because I need you to prove that you're vaccinated to protect myself and my family. You have to, of course, have that ability to travel into York Region for a few hours on either of those days. So I know that I'm asking a lot looking for these volunteers. There's a huge chance that I'm going to be filming this by myself. But if anybody out there is willing to come to York Region to film these videos, I would love to have you. I'd love to have some people in the background and some demonstrators. Okay, it's going to be in an undisclosed area at a park, likely in York Region, for a few hours. Okay, you have to be coachable. Lucky for you, since it's volunteer, I will be sending you the workouts beforehand, so you get a chance to test out the movements, find a variation that works for you, ask me some questions beforehand, and of course, during the videoing, I will be providing you coaching. So there is a benefit to you in that you get that one-on-one focus. There will be a signed consent for the video to be posted on both the Empowered Performance website and the Curling Canada website, as well as permission for photos and videos from the day to be posted on those various social medias. So if you're not comfortable with that, then please do not apply for this volunteer opportunity. This is really important. There are no fitness prerequisites. I don't care if you're Iron Woman. I don't care if you've never trained at all. There are no fitness prerequisites. The purpose here is that when people are watching this video, they see people like themselves. So if you're a brave soul and want to get out there, and even if you're not super, super awesome at working out, that's totally fine. We're going to be demonstrating a wide variety of bodies and abilities and curling levels. So yeah, there's no fitness requirements. The only fitness requirement is that you are a relatively healthy individual that could be doing activity for a couple of hours on a weekend. So it's going to be those 3 videos, but they might take a little bit longer than the half an hour. So you have to be okay with 3 or 4 hours of continual stop and start low impact work. Okay. Of course, each athlete will have the right to choose the variation of an exercise that works for them. Now, just as a recap, the goal is to enlist a variety of ages and skills, okay, within the spectrum that I've already described. The workouts and exercises I will walk you through will be provided a few weeks before the recording date. And as the volunteer opportunity, each athlete will receive 1 hour of video chat to go over the workouts beforehand. So we will chat beforehand. It's not going to be the first day that we see each other when we're filming those videos. We can discuss the exercises and discuss the project as a whole. So filming, as I said, will take place outside at a park within York Region. Social distancing will be kept, as well as masks used when in closer proximity. The Empowered Performance for Young Women in Curling project aims to build capacity for gender equity and encouraged continued participation in the sport of curling by providing opportunities to learn, lead, and explore themselves in complex sport they are passionate about. This project is designed to keep girls in curling and to provide them more opportunities to participate and lead with more enjoyment. So if you're interested, send me an email. If this has been interesting for you and you made it this far, share it with a friend, share it with someone that you think might be interested in volunteering, or share it with someone who might be interested in watching it when it does go live. I'm really excited to hear how people like the live version. I hope that we get this done and set up for October. And yeah, have a great day wherever you are.